Oh, what a beautiful night for football here in the Heartland. We are live at Gardner-Edgerton High School, where this past week was one of celebration and jubilation here at Gardner-Edgerton High. Not only is it homecoming week, but the Blazer football team was named Team of the Week by KCTV5, and Coach Jesse Owen was named one of the 2 Metro High School Coaches of the Week. The Blazers are riding high. They're off to a fast 3-0 start. They welcome in the Jaguars from 20 miles north for this battle of unbeatens. Those Blazers are led by senior standouts Austin Bowie and quarterback Connor Elder. Running back Dawson Kindler will carry much of the running back duties behind his 70 attempts so far this season, including 35 last week. And they will be leading this double wing offense for the Blazers. On defense, the Blazers have only given up 57 points behind some hard-hitting playmakers. The Mill Valley Jaguars leave the swamp this week and head south. They're going to take their high-powered offense show on the road behind senior signal caller Hayden J. and the fleet of feet combo of Tristan Baker, Sidney Lockhart, and Marion Grays. The Jaguars are 3-time defending state 5A champs. The Blazers are one of the top teams in the Metro. 2 unbeatens. Live, you are watching us here in Gardner-Edgerton on 810varsity.com. Friday evening with one of the best matchups this weekend. Really anywhere in the Metro.
Absolutely. Both of these teams are powerhouses coming in undefeated, so that is definitely going to change for one of these teams this evening. Gardner-Edgerton did win this toss. I'd like to defer, which seems like that is commonplace nowadays. So they like flip that. Mill Valley won and deferred, so they are going to kick it away.
Getting Lawman in to do the kickoff duties for the Jaguars. Moments away here, 2 unbeatens. Both of these teams in the top 10 of the 810 varsity, top 25, and we are underway at Gardner-Edgerton High School. Another team taking it to the 1-yard line, loses the ball, hits the turf, is able to recover it, takes a friendly bounce. I believe that was number 11. That was Brian Cole, I believe, on the return. But nonetheless, a good athletic play to recover that ball. Really to save that starting possession for Gardner-Edgerton. We'll have it first and 10 around the 14-yard line. And we'll have the first look at this high-powered Gardner-Edgerton offense. As we said earlier in the game, we got a big tight end on the right side. That's Austin Bowie, the Central Missouri State basketball commit. And just like they kicked off in weeks prior to start this matchup, Mill Valley pulls down the ball carrier behind the line of scrimmage. The loss of 1 on the play is going to bring up 2nd and long from around the 12.
I think Mikey Bergstrom on the tackle on that one. He was the one who made the tackle on it.
Mikey Bergstrom, one of the top tacklers for this Jaguar defense. Look at this offensive formation. You think, what's going on out here? It's the old double wing. Quarterback Elder drops back to pass. He's got that big tight end across the right side out to the 25, and that's going to be enough for a Blazer first down.
That was big 89. Austin Bowie. He's the major target for this offense.
Austin Bowie, all 225. Didn't have to jump too high to bring that one down, but it took a couple of Jaguars to finally bring it down to the turf. First and 10 from their own 24-yard line. Handoff up the middle. I think that might have been Kindler. And Kindler, you're going to hear that name a lot. As we said earlier, 35 carries in last week's matchup against Olathe West. Starting off with his first carry, a short gain of about 1.
And he was stuffed pretty much at the line by Brock Wilson. I think we're going to hear that name.
We're going to be hearing the name Brock Wilson. Second down, 9 to go. Blazers right up the middle, and he's got some room. He's at the 40, being chased by a trio of Jaguars. 20, 15, finally brought down at the 10-yard line. First and goal, Blazers.
Dawson Kindler absolutely found the hole and took off.
Dawson Kindler with his second carry of the game makes it a good one. Ball's going to be spotted just outside the 10-yard line, they're going to say, so the Blazers have an opportunity for another first down. But boy, things are looking up for the Blazers. They're here early in the first quarter, 10:04, 10:03 left to play. And in motion, out on the left side, that's number 12, tries to find the corner and get around. That was Dylan Butash, another one of their fast runners for the Blazers, kind of mixing it up a little bit here. Coaching staff back in the huddle now. 2nd and 5 from the 6-yard line of Mill Valley. Blazers knocked at the door. 9:34, 9:33 left to play here in the first. Another handoff, this time to the right side. Tries to stretch it out over the goal line. He doesn't quite get there. They're going to mark him down right around the 1.5, 2-yard line. And that's going to bring up 3rd and very short. As we said, they can't get another first down here before punching it into the end zone.
Zane Mayfield on that carry, giving Kindler a little bit of a breather after that 64-yard run.
3rd and 2. Elder under center. One receiver to the top of the screen. Tight end set. Handoff up the middle. No signal yet. They're going to say he's down just about the 1-yard line. And that will bring up 4th down.
That was Kindler on the carry, and Bergeron was able to make the stop along with pretty much the whole line.
Serge Oti and Kuya doing a great job there from his left guard position. Whitley and Jackson Kellogg. Of those linemen here in a second. Handoff up the middle. No signal yet. And they're going to say he was marked down at about the half-yard line, but I believe that's going to give the Blazers a first and goal opportunity from inside the 1-yard line of Mill Valley.
All the Mill Valley athletes were pointing that they had held them, but they did give them the first down. It looks like it's about the 1-foot line. So now they have 4 chances to get it in.
First and goal from the half-yard line. Connor Elder under center, hands it off. And he did. Now just give the signal, touchdown. Touchdown Blazers.
And he did just barely break that plane. Both officials agreed rather quickly on that, and they are on the board at 7:56 left to go in the first quarter. And Gardner-Edgerton striking first. Owen Dye on to attempt the extra point. The kick is up, and the kick is good. Connor Elder, the holder on that one. That's going to make it 7-0. Gardner-Edgerton over Mill Valley. 7:56 to go in the first quarter. And we thank you for joining us on this beautiful Friday night in Gardner-Edgerton. We had rain most of the day today, but it started clearing off serendipitously around 4 o'clock. Turf field, so not quite as much of an issue if there is moisture as a natural grass field, but the turf might still be a little slippery. We haven't seen anything as of yet as far as people having a hard time with their footing.
Oh, are we going to have an issue with the turf monster here this evening?
I was just talking about that. I don't think so. We did have quite a bit of rain. It started clearing up around 4 this afternoon, so I think maybe there was enough time for this turf field to dry out.
So far this season, Gardner-Edgerton, the Blazers have really done a good job in the first quarter, outscoring their opponents 49-13, and Talking with Coach Owens, he said that was one of the recipe or ingredients to the recipe to beat this Jaguar team. He wanted to come out and strike first, and that they have done. Return now by Mikey Bergeron. He's got a little bit of room, but he's going to be tripped up around the 25. And that's where the Jaguars are going to have it. Their first opportunity on offense, 7:50 left to play in the first. And your score, Gardner-Edgerton 7, Mill Valley 0. For the first time this season, Mill Valley is finding themselves in the deficit.
Zane Mayfield in on the tackle on that one for Gardner-Edgerton.
1st and 10, Jaguars to the 24-yard line. Single back set is Baker. Hayden Jay takes the snap. He wants to keep it himself. He's got a little bit of room. Finally pulled down from behind.
Spencer Easley. We are going to be saying that name a lot.
And Cameron Porter did a good job of bringing down the senior signal caller. Looked like that could have really turned into a big game there, but good defensive stop by the Blazers.
Well, they were starting off with just an all-out blitz, and they were able to put a hold on him.
2nd and 5 from the 29. Hayden Jay. Hard count, looking for a flag, and they got one. I think that might have been, Mr. Easley. He's pretty fired up there.
He was a little upset with himself getting on that. They just made an amazing play, and then he just got a little excited to give them the first down on a penalty.
Coach Jesse Owen brings in a lifetime 7-6 record. They started out last year in his first year here at Gardner-Edgerton 0-4, but they turned it around in a hurry, 1-4 the next 5. Got a lot of momentum coming into this season. Baker, talk about the turf monster, David Trimble. I think that's might have been what happened to Tristan Baker there. Tripped up and brought down around the 33-yard line. Going to bring up about 2nd and 11 now.
Not taking anything away from Mr. Mead, who was in on that tackle.
2 receivers to the near side. Single back is Baker. Hayden Jay wants to pass, but he will not have an opportunity. Brought down in the backfield.
Austin Bowie.
And I think Dexter Carr, big number 99, all 295 pounds of him, broke through the backfield to pull down the senior Hayden Jay.
Absolutely. Excuse me, that was big old number 99, Dexter Carr.
Dexter Carr, who also has a touchdown to his credit so far this season for the Blazers. 6:04, 6:03. Clocks are running here in the first quarter. 7-0, home team over the visitors. Gardner-Edgerton trying to hold here on 3rd and 16. Mill Valley trying to get something going offense. Hayden Jay under pressure again. Rolls out to his right. He's got a receiver in and out of the hands. The outstretched hands. It looked like Brody Brigham, the big 6'2" tight end, couldn't bring that one in. And how about this? The Jaguars are going to be forced to punt. 4th and 16 from their own 28-yard line.
And Coach Hudgens on Gardner-Edgerton has got to be happy with his guys getting there. He's the defensive coordinator for Gardner-Edgerton, defensive coordinator.
Coach Hudgens is the defensive coordinator, absolutely, for Mill Valley.
Mill Valley, that is 100% my fault. Excuse me.
Mill Valley and Coach Hudgens will have an opportunity here after this punt. As we see Hayden Jay, he's going to be sitting at his own 18-yard line. It's away, a nice clean punt, calling for a fair catch inside the 40. Going to be fair caught there by number 5. That's Eli Blazik. And the Blazers already up 7-0 at 5:39 left to play here in the first quarter. Looking to add more.
Your attention, please. The band students have been working hard to get ready for their first competition on October 5th.
We've just been handed a piece of paper here. The unofficial attendance so far, over 3,000 here. Unofficial attendance.
And Mill Valley student section in their brightly colored clothes, making a very good presence known here.
Little handout, little trap up the middle. Nice gain. 4-5. Going to bring up 2nd and 5 from the 42-yard line of the Blazers. So far in this matchup, it has been all Gardner-Edgerton, a total of 86. I'd say about 91 yards of offense so far. 2nd and 6. Elder wants to throw. He's got Bowie over on the right side. Bowie brings it in. Sort of like a Venus flytrap. You know, once the ball gets into his kind of the clutches, it's pretty much there.
And he is definitely a very nice big old tight end target for him. Reminder of the Chiefs, Kelsey. You know, whenever you need something, you go to him. He was not quite able to get the first down. Looks like they're about a yard short.
3rd and short now for the Blazers. 4:41 left in the first. Jaguars trying to hold him here on 3rd down. Handoff. I think that might have been Kindler. Got a lot of Peanut Tillman action there trying to pop that ball out of the Jaguars, but not before the first down is called, and they're going to move the chains. Blazers with another set of downs. 4:32 left here in the first. Ball sits just shy of the 48-yard line of the Blazers. Jaguars in their 4-man front showing blitz, trying to come up with an answer to this double wing offense. Connor Elder lifts one out there, and I think that was one that he kind of saw happening. They figured to go ahead and throw it up because that looks like it's going to be a pass interference on the defense.
He had Hawkinson out there. He just overthrew him a little bit, but I think that might have been a free play situation where he said, hey, you know what, let's try and take a little bit of a shot downfield here, see if we can get him. Awaiting, and yes, the signal is against Mill Valley.
And Mill Valley right now is giving up more yards and penalties than they have on offense. Not exactly characteristic of a Joel Appleby coach team, but at the same time, you don't get 3 rings in a row. Kind of knowing what you're doing up there. 1st and 10 from the 48 of Mill Valley. Another run, this time just around the left guard. And I'm going to try to say this name again. Otian Kuya. 290 pounds.
Serge and I are on a first-name basis.
Serge, all right, very good.
So
290 pounds. Why wouldn't you run behind him? That is certainly a lot of muscle. 2nd and 9 for the Blazers. Ball on the 41 of Mill Valley. Mill Valley showing blitz. Quick out route. There's a flag on the play. That was Braven Powell. See what the call is. It's going to be a holding call against the Blazers. That's going to back them up 10 yards. And finally, if you're a Mill Valley fan, something, I guess, a little bit positive coming by way of a penalty.
Absolutely, and defensive coordinator for Mill Valley, Coach Hudgens, has got to be a little bit happy about that. He's hoping there can be a little bit of a momentum swing on here. They can get a stop and get the ball back.
You're looking for Coach Brian McCall earlier.
McCall,
yeah,
for Gardner-Edgerton, has got to be happy with his defense.
But right now, Coach Hudgens and the Jaguars with 3:20 left in the first quarter, trying to thwart this offense and figure this maze out, but wide open. They found Colton Hawkinson, and Hawkinson takes it inside the 20-yard line, finally pushed out of bounds. 1st and 10, Blazers from the 17-yard line of Mill Valley.
And I'm not sure, that looked like Elder might have had the option there. He was running out a little bit Mahomes-esque, throwing against his body, and he was able to make that connection beautifully.
Blazers in the red zone for the 2nd time today. The first one resulted in 7, trying to add to that. Little pitch out to the right, trying to cut back. See who we have.
I think Bergeron was spinning him around, and I think I might have heard one of the coaches yelling at his other team to punch the ball out.
Kyle Oatman, the 5'9" senior with the carry.
He just could not make it around the corner, around the outside.
Elder under center. Mill Valley with a nice push. Elder out to his right side, tried to get it to, I think that was Hawkinson again. Or no, I beg your pardon, that was Dawson Kindler, 38.
And they sent Butash in motion on that one, and I thought if they I am up here, and I'm not an offensive coordinator, but I think if they would have pitched it to him, he might have been able to get around the outside.
Had a little bit of room there, 2:26 left in the first, 7-0. Blazers on top of the Jaguars. Blazers threatening here. Pass over to the right side to Big Bowie. Bowie inside the 10-yard line. Fresh set of downs. Are they going to mark him just shy? He needed to get down to about the 9-yard line. Let's see where they mark it. And they're going to mark it right at the 10-yard line, so that's going to be 4th and about 1.5. And the Blazers wasting no time. Elder under center, man in motion. Now they're going to slow down just a little bit. Call a timeout. That was Kyle Oatman coming around from his left wing side. And a timeout on the field. 2:19 left to play in the first. The Blazers from Gardner-Edgerton up 7-0 over the 3-time defending state 5A champion Mill Valley Jaguars. And how about this? If anybody had this in their prediction pool where the Blazers would come out and essentially be about, 10 yards away from going up 14 points against the Jaguars, I would have said you might be a little bit crazy.
I think a lot of people would have said that you were crazy, mostly all of the Mill Valley fans in attendance here. But they have been able to get pressure on Hayden Jay, and that has absolutely gotten him rushing out of the pocket, moving. He has not been comfortable back there, and he hasn't been able to get the offense going. Mill Valley defense, they're trying to hold their own. Gardner-Edgerton is just marching right down the field.
4th and 2 from the 10-yard line. Have to get it just shy of the 8-yard line for a fresh set of downs. Elder under center, wants to throw, looking, but he's under pressure, and he's going to be sacked. Connor Elder brought down by number 54. That was Spencer Vaca and company, the big 6'2", 248-pound nose tackle. Gets it done for the defense.
And that is absolutely huge. Coach Hudgens has got to be happy with his defense on that one, making that stand and forcing them to turn the ball over on downs.
1st and 10, Mill Valley from deep in their own territory. 2:12 left to play here in the first. Receiver top, receiver bottom. Offset eye. Ball is on the ground. Hayden Jay lost control of the ball. They're going to say that the Blazers recover.
And again, that is that pressure that they have been putting on Hayden Jay all afternoon, evening long. He has not been comfortable back there, and they're able to get that ball to come out and make the recovery.
Not sure if there's a casino around here, but I think this Blazer team should probably find one, because right now it is all coming up in favor of the Blazers. 1st and 10, ball on the 13-yard line of the 3-time defending state champs. Handoff right over the right guard, pushes it through at about the 8-yard line, where they originally needed to get it for a new set of downs.
I was going to say, the defense just helped them pick up that first down, basically, that they did not get on 4th a little while ago.
Noah Coy in for the stop for the Jaguars. And I think Mill Valley wants to kind of take a timeout and regroup. Maybe take a deep breath here and figure out what that magic recipe is that's going to stop this double wing offense. 1:44 left to play here in the first. Blazers 7, Jaguars 0, and you were watching it live on A10Varsity.com. Second and 7 from the 10-yard line of Mill Valley. The Blazers threatening to strike for the second time tonight. 1:44 left in the first quarter. Handoff up the middle. Short gain. Kindler with his, that's about his 5th carry. During the break, we had a chance to look at the total offensive numbers, and so far, Mill Valley on the negative side of things. They are in the red at -1 yards. The Blazers, 134.
64 of those in one play.
3rd and 3 from the 6. Another handoff. Another handoff to the right side. Trying to get around. That is Jackson Kellogg. And, you know, we talked about Serge being 6', 290. Let me tell you something about Jackson Kellogg. 6'3", 355 pounds.
That is an immovable object.
That's what they say. Less than a minute to play here in the first quarter. Blazers just outside the 5-yard line. Little misdirection. I'm going to say he was brought down just shy of the goal line.
Dylan Bootlash, I believe, on that one. And that was enough to move the chains and give him the first down. Here again.
They do. They have 4 downs to go, 2 yards. 24 seconds left here in the first quarter. Blazers. Connor Elder under center. Waits for the snap. Handoff right up the middle. No signal. Waiting for the pile to kind of clear out. Connor Elder doesn't think that they got it. He's walking on back to the sideline, and they will be short. It's going to be marked at about the 1-foot line, but the time has run out in the first quarter of action here at Gardner-Edgerton High School. And Gardner-Edgerton, behind their 3-0 record, jumping out to an early 7-0 lead over Mill Valley. You're watching it live right here on 810varsity.com.
And we are about ready to get playing this second quarter. We're switching into the field. Gardner-Edgerton is trying to get the ball in from about the 1-foot line.
2nd and 1 for the Blazers. Handoff this time, there's no doubt. He's in for the touchdown. Touchdown, Gardner-Edgerton to go up 13-0 over Mill Valley. Just underway in the second quarter.
And I think they've just been kind of pounding the ball in there with Kindler, just letting him do what he does. 35 carries last week alone, 70 on the season, and he's able to get it in there for the 6th.
And the Mill Valley faithful across the field are a little bit stunned right now as we see the extra point attempt. Good hold, kick is up, and the kick is good. Make it 14-0. Gardner-Edgerton over Mill Valley. 11:56 left to play in the second quarter. Well, partner, just how we drew it up, right, when we were talking about it on the way out here.
Well, we said that this was going to be a fantastic game. I think
Absolutely.
it looks like there's got to be at least 500 people over there in the visiting stands, and they probably had different conversations on the way down here. Again, both of these teams, 3-0 coming into this, have not had too many challenges coming into this game, and I think this is going to end up being a good one. I think Mill Valley is going to settle down here, and they're going to get something going here in this second quarter.
In that first quarter, Mill Valley with a total of 4 offensive plays. Gardner-Edgerton with 24. Total offensive yards after a quarter for Mill Valley, -1. 140 for Gardner-Edgerton. Of course, helped by that fumble deep in Mill Valley territory. Blazers capitalize. Sydney Lockhart, and again, just not really going the right way. But Sydney Lockhart tries to turn something out of nothing. Flag on the field. Interesting where they threw that back there.
Eli Blazik on the tackle on that one, and he ran into his own man at one point in time.
Josiah Miller coming up a little bit lane there. I think he's going to walk that one off. And that is not a favorable call for Mill Valley. But the fans in the stands in front of us that are here supporting the Blazers are pretty fired up right now.
Absolutely they are, and why
because,
wouldn't you be?
Well, it is homecoming, and they had the walking taco truck out there. How could you not be fired up?
I know, and they had a contest along with that. They just announced the winner for the walking taco tickets and taco promotion they had going on.
1st and 10 from their own 10-yard line. Baker to the right of Jay. Handed off to Baker. Tries to push the ball forward. He does, out to about the 15-yard line. Tristan Baker coming into this game, the leading rusher for Mill Valley. But really, this rushing attack of Mill Valley is kind of a three-headed monster. We have Sydney Lockhart, the aforementioned Tristan Shake and Baker, as well as Amarian Graves, beg your pardon. Now there's an Amarian Green just up the road at DeSoto High School. Standout rusher over there for the Wildcats.
And Colin McAllister and Loftman have had the answer for this rushing.
And what a great catch over the middle. That's number 14. Is that Mr. Preston Oliver? And that's a get-right reception for the Jaguars. Twin receivers to the near side, one to the far.
And Cameron Porter could not have been covering him any better. That was just a perfect throw and catch.
You know, looking back on kind of what we saw in the first quarter, David Trimble, we almost saw kind of the flip in the script where, you know, the Blazers pretty much took the playbook from Mill Valley and said, you know what, we're going to do exactly what you do. We're just going to run it right down your throat when we have to. We'll throw a little pitch outside. 2nd down and 6 from their own 44-yard line. Hayden Jay takes the snap. He's going to keep it himself. Looking to run. He's got some room. Lowers his shoulder. Gets it out to just shy of the 1st down marker and around the 50-yard line. I think they're going to say he was about 2 or 3 inches short. It's going to bring up a real short 3rd down. Ball just inside the 50-yard line. Their own 50-yard line.
And Jaden Woods was able to bring him down inches, links, if you will, away from that 1st down.
And this defensive front 5 is really getting after it here for the Blazers. But right there, Tristan Baker has his way with that line, gets a 1st down and another 8, all the way down to the 42-yard line of the Blazers. 1st and 10 Jaguars, 9:37 left in the 2nd, trailing the Blazers by 14.
And they are absolutely lucky that Jaden Woods, number 5 on Gardner-Edgerton, made that tackle because he had a full head of steam and he had open field in front of him.
1st and 10. A.J. waits for the snap. To the right is Baker. Twins to the top. One receiver to the bottom is going to go to number 13. Wide open. Touchdown. Mill Valley. Tate Nicola, the big 6'3" senior, pulls it in for the first points this evening for Mill Valley, making it a 14-6 game, 9:08 left before half.
And Davian Harris, I believe he might have gotten a little burned on that one, might have gotten crossed up on that.
Well, you know, Mr. Harris, of course, part of the Jaguar team, David Trimble. Just remember, folks, when you send those complaints, it's Trimble. Lawman in for the extra point. Kick is up. Plenty of distance, and it's good. Make it 14-7, 9:08 left to play in the second quarter. And the Jaguars finally adding some points to their side of the scoreboard. And none too soon for the Jaguar faithful.
And they have increased the total number of plays that they had run in the first quarter. They only were able to run 4 plays in the first quarter on offense, and they have gone into 5 plays with 9 minutes and 8 seconds left to go in the second quarter on this one. And I believe that they're starting to settle down a little bit. Hayden Jay, he was under pressure quite a bit that last set of downs.
14-7 is your score. 3-0 versus 3-0. Someone will be going home with an L. It'll be the Blazers or the Jaguars. You're going to find out right here on a10varsity.com. Bring you some scoring updates from around the area at halftime, or as we have an opportunity. Ullman trying to kick this one into the end zone. Came up just a little bit short on the initial kickoff. Has an opportunity going from left to right on your screen, north to south, a little bit high. That's going to be taken around the 10. Around the 9, out to the 15. Tries to do a little stutter step, but Mill Valley, they're going to say that he was down. The ball is out. But the ball carrier, well, at least from this vantage point, looks like he was down. It's going to be 1st and 10 Blazers. Well, and I think the Mill Valley faithful, the neon-clad student section, didn't approve of that call.
They don't have the best vantage point being not on the field, but they did definitely disagree with that call.
1st and 10 from their own 18-yard line. Honor Elder throws it. Hit the ground, I believe, before. Can come up a little bit too hot. That was Colton Hawkinson, one of the leading receivers for this Blazer team. Going to bring up 2nd and 10 from the 18. Now, how big would it be for the Jaguars to get a stop right here? But quite frankly, we've seen the Blazers have their way so far here in this one with the defense of Mill Valley. 2nd and 10 from the 18. 2 tight end set, 2 wingbacks, man in motion. Going the other way now, Elder in a little bit of trouble. He just kind of throws it away to the Jaguar bench, and they quickly throw it back onto the field. Kind of like at Wrigley Field, throwing that ball back.
And it does seem like they have flipped the script in this second quarter now. Now Mill Valley is getting pressure on Elder and forcing him to get rid of the ball a little bit earlier than he wanted to.
Truman Griffin wearing the number 8. He's all of 6'3", 237 pounds. Just exploded through that line on that last play. Somebody wanted to watch there. 3rd and 10 from the 18. Elder under a lot of pressure. Gets rid of it. He's got a receiver on the near side. Out to the 20, 25. He turns the corner. Gets it out to the 30. They're going to say he was finally knocked out of bounds at the 35-yard line. 1st and 10 Blazers.
And that was, Mill Valley was coming with it, and they almost had him in the backfield, but Elder was able to get that away. And then when you're bringing that much pressure, there is going to be some open space for the team to run.
1st and 10 from the 36. A different formation. Receiver split out to the top, one to the bottom. Elder hands off inside. Nice solid tackle, but not before a gain of about 5. It's going to bring up 2nd and 5 from about the 43-yard line. Time of possession about 4-1 in favor of the Blazers. 12 first downs for Gardner-Edgerton, 3 for Mill Valley. 2nd and 3 from the 43. Elder, a little bit of time. He wants to go over the top. He had a receiver, and they're going to get number 29, Dylan Massey, for the PI. And I think they're going to say that it was uncatchable, but that matters not in high school. And Mill Valley has just given a first down to the Blazers.
And not a ton of penalties in this game. That's just the 4th penalty on Mill Valley, but 2 of them have definitely been costly.
What about the other 2?
The other 2 were not game-changing plays. They were a 5 and a 10-yarder, but that was definitely a big momentum.
Going to start this drive from Mill Valley territory. 1st and 10 from the 42. And off right side. Short gain for Kindler. Might have got across the 40, maybe the 39 and a half, or the 41.
Gain of 1.
2nd and 9 from the 41. 7:38, 7:37 left to play in the second quarter here at Gardner-Edgerton High School. Beautiful evening for football. Little miscommunication there. Elder with a pitch. I'm not sure that he was expecting it. But can we take just a second and talk about Serge Otienkuya? Otienkuya, beg your pardon. He's 290 pounds. Why is that young man all the way over here on the near side chasing down that play, trying to get a block out there? How about that for athleticism, folks?
Absolutely, and I might have missed the call. I didn't see who called the timeout on that one.
You know what? We can tell you that it's 7:21 left before halftime. 14-7 is your score. The Blazers up by a touchdown and an extra point over Mill Valley. Keep it right here. There's a little miscommunication. And a lot of folks out there from Mill Valley on the field.
Injury substitution.
And Gardner-Edgerton wasting no time. 3rd and 8 from the 41-yard line of Mill Valley. They know the play. Single receiver is going to be here to the near side. Fullback, 2 wingbacks. Now we're going to have another timeout. This one going to be called by Gardner-Edgerton. Back-to-back timeouts.
The first one was an injury substitution. They had a player that was coming up a little bit, looked like his arm. So that was not really an official. That was an official's timeout, not a timeout charge to either team.
7:18 left before halftime. 14-7 Blazers over the Jaguars. Live on 810varsity.com. Big 3rd down play, 3rd and 8 from the 40. Blazers. Conrail, they're under center. He's going to drop back. Under pressure, he's got a receiver over the middle. In and out of the hands. Good defensive play by Holden Sigmund for the Jaguars to prevent another big pitch and catch for the Blazers. And it's 7:11 before halftime. It's Slurpee time. 7-11. How about that? We had walking tacos.
And Zane Mayfield was not able to bring that one in. He almost was able to catch that on a second effort.
Now you're up by 7 at home. 7:11 before halftime. It's 4th and 8. Austin Bowie back in punt formation. A little bit high. Is able to bring it down. Mill Valley really not putting a rush on. You almost think he could have run to pick up that first down, and that is going to take a Blazer bounce, and it's going to be down at the 1-yard line. Maybe the 2. They might have said the 2-yard line, but nonetheless, it is inside the 5-yard line, and Mill Valley has about 98 yards to go to try to add some more points to their 7-point total. Blazers 14, Jaguars 7. 1st and 10, Mill Valley from the 3-yard line.
And I think Coach Appleby might have a discussion with his special teams players at halftime.
A lot of teachable moments for both teams in this contest so far. Twin receivers to the near side. Hayden J looks to the sideline for the play call. Plenty of time on the play clock, 19 seconds. Going to be a handoff, this one to Baker. He shakes it around and gets it out to about the 6 or 7 yard line. A little more breathing room for the Jaguars.
And this defense on Gardner-Edgerton has definitely had the number for the Mill Valley offense as of 6:38-39 in the second quarter.
Well, thank you, David Trimble. 6:30 left before halftime. And in motion. That's a dangerous play, but Tristan Baker is waiting for that reception. And Baker is whipped down around the 12-yard line. And they're going to say that was enough for a first down. Huge pickup there by Tristan Shaken Baker for Mill Valley. Gives them a fresh set of downs. Ball spotted at the 14-yard line of Mill Valley. 6:10, 6:09 left before halftime. Mill Valley trying to put something together here. Hayden J. He's going to keep it himself, tries to go over the left side. He does, but he is stood up and pushed back. Big stop. Not Eli Blazik, or was that almost looked like number 8. Beg your pardon.
I think that was Dexter Carr was in there on that.
Dexter Carr's been in on pretty much every play.
And that was Connor Ellis officially on the tackle there.
Dexter Carr. That's...
Connor Ellis is not a small individual. He is 6'2", 240, the senior.
2nd and 8 from the 16, their own 16 for Mill Valley. Jay takes a snap. Under pressure he pulls it back in. He's going to run. He's at the 20, tries to get it out to the 25 for a first down mark, and I think he's going to be a little bit shy. That'll bring up 3rd and short for the Jaguars.
Number 2, Cam Porter at 27.
The far side official is going to go ahead and give them the first down, so they're going to move the chains real quick, and they're picking up the first down. Hayden J is able to make it with his legs.
Less than 5 to play before halftime. First and 10, Mill Valley. Twin receivers to the near side. Single back is Baker to the left of Jay. Jay takes the snap, gives it to Baker, tries to get around the corner, finds a little bit of room, and he's a tough runner, but not tough enough to get around the waiting arms. Gosh, is that, Camptillo, Andrew Camptillo, 6'3", 205 pounds senior linebacker. 4 tackles in the matchup against the Owls of Olathe West last week. Hayden J going to go ahead and keep it himself again. Trying to get out past the first down marker. He's pulled out of bounds and around the 34-yard line. Well, that's going to be awful close, and that will be enough for a first down.
And that play was designed to be a pass all the way, but Gardner-Edgerton had Mill Valley covered downfield, so Hayden J, the only thing he could do was pull that ball back down and run for it, but he was able to pick up the first down.
Hayden J coming into this contest, 28 of 42 through the air. Completion percentage around 67%. 4 TDs through the air, but 7 on the ground. Jay wants to throw again. He's going to tuck it and try to run. Reverses his field, going back the other way. 40 at midfield. 40, 35, finally pushed out of bounds. Finally pushed out of bounds around the 30-yard line. I think that might have been Eli Blazik and Randy Singleton. I kind of wonder if that was going to be a late hit, but we'll see what the call is.
The flags are on the far side of the field, so I don't think that it did look dangerously close to a late hit.
That call was going to go against Gardner-Edgerton, but the result of the play is more beneficial for Mill Valley to decline it. 3:53 before halftime. Mill Valley started this drive back on their own 3-yard line. They're down to the 31-yard line of the Blazers. Jay takes the snap, hands it off to Baker, and Baker's got some room. Tristan Baker to the 10, turns around the corner to the 5, and he is brought down. He stood up at around the 5-yard line. Is that Eli Blazek down there? David Trimble with the stop.
It was, and he most definitely saved a touchdown on that one.
But Tristan Baker showing off his speed and putting the Jaguars into a 1st and goal situation from the 5-yard line.
And he got an absolutely perfect push from his offensive line, and they created a hole, and he was able to run through that and explode down the field.
Tate Nicolo's going to be your wide out here on the bottom of your screen. They like to kind of throw that back corner throw. This time it's going to the left. Hayden Jay is going to keep it himself. Does he get in? They're going to say he was. He is into the end zone. Hayden Jay, touchdown, Mill Valley.
And he was met right at the line, but the far side judge put that touchdown signal up rather quickly, so I don't believe there was any question if he got in.
Swing and gate formation. They're going to reset, line up for the extra point attempt. And the Jaguars, after being down 14-0 early in the second quarter, now have a chance to tie this one up. Kick is up, it's through, and it is good. And partner, we got a tie ball game. 3:13 left before halftime. Jaguars, Blazers, all tied up at 14. And you are watching it live on 810varsity.com.
And I believe one of us said that Mill Valley was going to settle down a little bit and get something going in this second quarter. I can't remember if that was you or me, Sean.
That would be the great prognosticator, David Trimble. Well done, partner. And that has certainly quieted this Blazer crowd here immediately below us. But the crowd on the far side of the field on your screen, predominantly made up of Mill Valley faithful, they are on their feet and excited. And why wouldn't you be after down 14-0? Come back to tie this one up. Lohman tries to get into the end zone. Going to be taken around the 2. Out to the 5, 10. A little bit of a scrum around the 15. Push will probably get him out to the 22-yard line where the Blazers will have it 1st and 10 with 3:08 left to play before halftime.
And it's not necessarily that Gardner-Edgerton has let up or been doing anything else. Hayden Jay has definitely been under pressure most of this second quarter. He's just gotten a little bit more comfortable and able to stand in there, tuck the ball when he needs to, and make the passes when he needs to.
Back on the ground, gain of 3. Kindler, as we said, 35 carries last week. It's like a locomotive. I mean, talk about durability.
The Trailblazers, when the team runs out, they have a covered wagon that they pull across there, and it's just like hitching your wagon to the right horse.
So are you calling him a stud? Is that where you're going with that?
I'm calling him a workhorse and possibly a stud. I don't know.
2nd and 6 from their own 26. 2:30, 2:29 left before halftime. Blazers under center. Another handoff. This one, maybe a gain of 1 or 2. And I think Mill Valley wants to call a timeout, and they do. I believe that is their second timeout of this half.
2 minutes to go. You can't take them with you into the halftime locker room, so you might as well try and rally and see if they can get a stop. Maybe even get the ball back, get a field goal or a touchdown going into halftime.
I think they would like to get a stop, hence the hence the timeout so they could turn around and possibly score. But the Blazers kind of methodical in their approach. You know, and we saw it as kind of the game progressed through the latter part of the first quarter. Jaguar defense kind of stepped up a little bit and made it just a little bit tougher for the Blazers to move the ball. But the Blazers now have it 3rd and 5 from their own 27-yard line. 2:20 left before halftime. Connor Elder under center. One receiver to the near, one to the far. Man in motion. He's going to step back to throw, and intercepted by Mill Valley. Intercepted, and that's going to be a pick 6. That is Dylan Massey making up for that PI call in the second quarter. Paying his dues with the big INT. And just like that, we go from a 14-0 Blazer lead to now a 20-14 Jaguar lead with 2:10 left before halftime.
I'm not sure what Coach said during that timeout, but it was absolutely the right call. And he's able to get that pick 6. 2:10 left to go in the first half.
And credit Truman Griffith and Grant Rutkowski for putting the pressure on Connor Elder to force him into a not exactly a stellar throw. Kick is up, and the kick is good. 21-14. Folks, if you turned away to check out a couple other games on a10varsity.com and came on back here to figure out, well, what's the status of the Blazers and the Jaguars, and you're looking at the score 21-14 in favor of Mill Valley, that is not a mistake. Mill Valley, 21 points so far here in the third quarter, currently lead by 7 over the hometown Blazers.
We are still in the second quarter, 2 minutes and 10 seconds to go before half. Mill Valley just scored.
Yes, they did. They just scored on the pick 6 by Dylan Massey. Back deep for the Blazers. I believe that's Randy Singleton. And he's one of the fastest players on this Blazer team. Coach Owens, I asked him, who are your speed makers? He said, well, certainly Singleton is one of them. Just a junior. Playing his feet back there on the goal line, trying to make something happen on the return. Lohman from Mill Valley is going to try to kick it into the end zone, eliminate that opportunity. Just a reminder, we'll have some scores and updates here at halftime. And we'll also have the video of the homecoming, I guess it's the coronation, the homecoming court. Is that the proper terminology? So we wait for the kick. Mill Valley, after their latest touchdown, up 21-14, 2:10 left to play before halftime. And Singleton, a little bit of a stutter step, waiting for a hole to develop, doesn't find one, but he does find 3 or 4 white jerseys to stop him in his tracks right around the 21-yard line. So the Blazers are going to have it 1st and 10, just over 2 minutes to play before half, trying to get something going to regain the lead.
Both teams still have 1 timeout remaining, 2:04 left to go before half.
Trips to the near side, handoff, right tackle, short to no gain. Maybe about 2. They're going to give him a nice spot there, gain of about 3 yards. Mill Valley's going to burn their last time out after that stop. Mill Valley thinks they have an opportunity to get this thing back before halftime. And why not give it a shot? You said earlier, David Trimble, you can't take those timeouts into the second half. That gives us an opportunity for some scoring updates. First on the Missouri side of things, one of interest to area fans, Blue Springs over Blue Valley, and a game that we don't see too often, Kansas versus Missouri, but Blue Springs 21, Blue Valley 14. Blue Valley Northwest taking on Lee Summit North. Lisa North up by 5 just before halftime, 12-7. Give you some other updates here. It's closer to halftime, and we'll run through the whole area scoring updates. Brought to you by A10varsity.com at halftime. Same formation as we saw last time out. Got 3 receivers here on the near side, only 1 corner. Interesting to see what they're going to do here, and they're going to go right out there to that side. He's got plenty of room in front of him, waiting for his blocker. Smartly gets out of bounds at the 36-yard line. Good heads-up play right there by the Blazers.
And Brock Worcester was the only man over there, and he was able to make that tackle. He was the only man there, and if they wouldn't have been able to get that, there was a lot of green in front of him.
1:53 before half, 1st and 10 Blazers. Another little late pitch on the turf, and that's another turnover. Mill Valley recovers the fumble off the bad pitch. And Mill Valley has 1 timeout left and 1 minute and 48 seconds left before halftime. And we talked in the first quarter about how it was coming up roses for the Blazers. Well, my friend, here in the second quarter, it has been nothing but fortuitous bounces for the visiting Jaguars of Mill Valley High School.
And Grant Ratowski was able to fall on that one, give Mill Valley the ball back. With 1:48 to go before half, Mill Valley deferred, so they get the possession to start the third quarter.
Hayden Jay takes a snap, looks to his left. He's got Oliver. Oliver kind of got impeded just a little bit there, but that's a good football play. Not going to get a foul drawn on that one. It's going to bring a 2nd and 10 from the 27. 1:43 now left before halftime. 21-14 is your score. Mill Valley over Gardner-Edgerton. And Mill Valley wants a little bit more before going into the locker room. Twin receivers to the top. 2 tight ends. Hand off to Baker. He's got a little bit of room. He stood up around the 23-yard line. There's a little bit of extracurriculars going on out there right now. That was big, yeah. Dawson Williams had 10 tackles last week with the stop. 121, 120. 2nd and 10 from the 27. Out of the eye. Hayden Jay down to the left. Tristan Baker hands it off to Baker. He's got some room up the middle. Punches it through the 20 down to the 15-yard line. Still plenty of time.
And they're not giving it to him. They're marking him down about a half-yard short of the line to gain.
1 timeout left. See if they'll possibly try a hard count here. 24-23 on the play clock. 44-43 on the game clock. That's exactly what they tried to do. Kind of a hard count right there, switching the ends. And Hayden Jay just runs up behind center, snaps the ball with 27.8 seconds left. The Mill Valley Jaguars have a first down. And as soon as the chains are set, the clock will run, and it is 25-24. Jay's going to just take that snap and spike it on that first down opportunity. 21.8 seconds.
I'll be interested to see if they don't add a 2.5 seconds back on that. The clock ran for a little bit after he did get that ball spiked.
Well, you know, that kind of happens. Sometimes you have.
I think they might try and get it back up to about 23 seconds on the clock now. There we go.
2nd and 10 from the 16. Tate Nicola on a touchdown earlier in this contest. Lines up wide to the left. Top of your screen is Preston Oliver. Hayden Jay drops back, and now he's going to run. He's got plenty of room over to the right side. Gets out of bounds. And that's a heads-up play by the senior signal caller to get out of bounds. They're able to preserve that timeout, and the clock stops, of course, with just over 17 seconds left before halftime.
I really thought he was going to pull the trigger on that one. He looked like that ball was about ready to come out of his hand before he tucked it down and went for the run.
You know, watching this Jaguar team on tape, there haven't been too many times this season where they've seen the pressure that the front five of the Blazers have shown. Here's Jay under more pressure, but he's got a receiver in the end zone. And they're going to say he brought it down. Touchdown, Mill Valley. Hayden Jay with his second touchdown strike of the night. See who brought that one in. It's Hayes Miller. All he does is catch touchdowns. Hayes Miller, leading receiver coming into this game for the Jaguars, puts Mill Valley up 27-14, pending the extra point with 11.2 seconds before halftime.
And Randy Singleton on the coverage, he was there. It was just a better catch and throw.
Good hold, kick is up on the distance, and it is good. 11.2 seconds before halftime. Your score, Mill Valley 28, the Blazers of Gardner-Edgerton 14. Just how we thought it'd be, right, partner?
That's how I drew it up on the way down here.
Blazers would jump out to an early 14-0 lead, forcing a couple of turnovers, capitalizing on those. And look how fortunes have turned.
The defense of Gardner-Edgerton, the first quarter, they were making Hayden Jay uncomfortable back in the pocket. And he mishandled a couple snaps. But then he was able to settle in the second quarter, and they put up 28 unanswered.
No better time for a halftime break than 11.2 seconds. Coach Owens will certainly marshal his troops and his resources to figure out what they need to do at halftime to adjust to this tempo and the offensive power that Mill Valley has brought here in the second quarter. Of course, certainly helps when you can capitalize on a couple of turnovers. And that long drive that started back at their own 3-yard line for Mill Valley. Certainly impressive. Lawman tries to get it into the end zone, and this one will go into the end zone. First touchback by either team this evening. Blazers are going to have 11.2 seconds left. You know, you kind of wonder, are they just going to take a knee here? Try to get in the locker room and hit the reset button.
Well, Elder has been calling a great game behind center, but it does look like they are going to just go into a victory formation and take this one into the locker room and talk about what they want to do coming out.
And that's exactly what's going to happen as the clock ticks down here in the second quarter. Going to the locker room, Mill Valley coming back from the dead. 28 second quarter points to lead the hometown Blazers 28-14. And you were watching it live only on 810varsity.com.
Involved in cheerleading, and after graduation, Kylie plans to attend Pitt State University and study construction management. She also hopes to join their co-ed cheer team. Her favorite moments as a Blazer were winning 3rd place her freshman year at state and being on the first cheer team to bring home a state trophy to Gardner-Edgerton. Person Kylie looks up to the most is her dad. She says, "He has always been there for me and is my #1 support. He proves to me that with a little hard work, you can have anything you dream of." The best advice Kylie ever received is something her mom tells her, that you should never have to work for friends. Your true friends will always be there to support you. After graduating, Kylie says cheering under the Friday night lights with her best friends, the excitement you get standing in front of the student section, that's what she'll miss the most. And now Pearson. He is the son of Sean and Hannah Carlisle and brother to Jocelyn. At GHS, Pearson was involved in track and field, specifically pole vault. Next year, Pearson plans to attend Pitt State, where he will study psychology and continue his love for pole vaulting. His favorite memory as a Blazer is when he took 3rd place at the state meet in pole vault, and Pearson says the role model he looks up to the most is his grandpa, because, quote, "He was the most loving person I've ever known. The best advice Pearson ever received is, be nice to everyone, the golden rule." Pearson says after graduation he will miss his friends, but he will most miss Megan Ward in the counseling office. Quote, "She has been the wind beneath his wings since kindergarten." Let's hear it for Kylie and Pearson. Up next we have Riley Pemberton and Connor Elder. Riley is the daughter of Andrew and Natalie Pemberton and sister to Vaughn. Riley's activities at GHS included 4 years of girls basketball and tennis and 2 years of Blazer Unified. Next year, Riley will be attending Johnson County Community College. Her favorite moment as a Blazer was freshman year when Coach Garrett made a bet against the JV basketball team that if they went undefeated that season, that she, Coach Garrett, would get her nose pierced. Well, needless to say, Coach Garrett is sporting a shiny diamond in her nose today. Riley looks up to her mom the most because she represents strength and love and compassion. She says that I would not be the person I am today without her. And the best advice Riley ever got was every morning when her mom would drop her off at school, she would say, "Make someone smile today." Riley said the thing she'll miss the most about GHS after graduating will be watching football under these Friday night lights with all her friends. And now Connor. Connor is the son of John and Kylie McClain. Connor's high school activities have included football, basketball, and perhaps golf this spring. Next year, Connor plans to attend a good school and play football at the next level. His favorite moment as a Blazer was sophomore year during football season because it was the first time he said he got to play with his brother. Connor says he looks up to his mom and dad the most. They're always there for me and point me in the direction I need to be going. The best advice Connor ever received was to not let others tell you how to live your life and just to be yourself. And Connor said the thing that he will miss the most about GHS after graduation is Friday Night Lights. Let's hear it for Riley and Connor. Now we have Riley Sander and Kyle Oatman. Riley's the daughter of Anthony and Lindsay Sander and sister to Aria and Aiden. Her high school activities have included All-In Blazers, National Honor Society, varsity volleyball, and student council. Riley is currently exploring offers to continue her volleyball career and to study physical therapy at the next level. And Riley said that her favorite moment as a Blazer was, quote, "dressing up for these Friday night lights, those themed spirit nights, watching the varsity volleyball team take 3rd at state her freshman year. The role model Riley looks up to the most is her mom because she has always pushed me to do my best," she says, "and been my biggest supporter. My mom has also helped me grow into the person I am today." And the best advice Riley ever received was, "Don't ever give up on being yourself for someone else." And that was from Mrs. Keyser. When asked what she will miss the most after leaving GHS, Riley says Friday Night Lights and seeing my friends and teachers every day. And now Kyle Oatman. Kyle is the son of Jim and Amber Oatman and brother to Alexa. And while at GHS, he has participated in track and field, football, and our athlete volunteer organization, All-In Blazers. Kyle plans to attend college to become a physical therapist. Kyle says his favorite moment as a Blazer was going to state for track last year. And Kyle's role model is his dad because he is hardworking and compassionate. The best advice Kyle ever received was to treat others the way you want to be treated. And the thing that Kyle will miss the most after leaving GHS is playing football and running track with his best friends. Let's hear it for both Riley and Kyle. Our final couple this evening are Paige Chesser and Dawson Williams. Paige is the daughter of Keith and Brooke Chesser, and sister to Reese. While at GHS, she has been involved in varsity volleyball in the GHS newspaper. Paige hasn't decided on what college she will attend yet, but she does want to major in graphic design and perhaps minor in journalism. Besides college, Paige would like to travel all over Oregon and Wyoming. Paige's favorite moment as a Blazer was getting to play volleyball with all of her childhood friends, from playing in the rec league to middle school and now playing our senior year. She says, "It's really bittersweet." The role model Paige looks up to the most is her sister Reese. She says, quote, "She's crazy, but her sense of humor fills the room with laughter. She lives carefree and doesn't try to live up to anyone's expectations but her own. I want to be just like her." The best piece of advice Paige has ever received was, growth doesn't look the same for everyone. People grow at different rates, and that's okay. Sometimes people grow apart, but everything happens for a reason. Paige says that what she will miss the most about GHS after she graduates is the outside of school fun, the volleyball games, and the football student section. And finally, Mr. Dawson Williams. Dawson is the son of Jamie Williams and brother to Dayton, and while at GHS, he has participated in football, baseball, and all-in Blazers. After graduation, Dawson plans to play baseball at Cowley County Community College, but is still undecided for his major. Dawson's favorite moment as a Blazer was going to state his sophomore year for baseball. He said, "Sadly, we fell just short of that title, but we had an unforgettable season." Dawson's role model is his mom because, quote, "She inspires me every day with her hard work and determination to get things done. I am thankful for how she has led me down the right path and has always been there for me." The best advice he ever received was from Coach O, who says, "What's the most important play? The next play." It works not just for sports, but for life. Dawson says the things he'll miss the most about GHS after he graduates are his friends and the memories he's made. Let's hear it for Paige and Dawson. And finally, we have some special guests returning this evening. Returning Queen Kennedy Crowder and King Jake McClure, and junior attendants Lily Yancey and Clyde Courts. Kennedy is attending Johnson County Community College and is dancing as a Golden Girl. As of right now, she's taking general ed classes and plans to transfer to KU next year. Jake's plans to start his post-high school academic and athletic career at Johnson County Community College were paused due to a significant accident this past August. Jake's drive, work ethic, and the immeasurable support he has received from our community have all contributed to his miraculous recovery. He continues to persevere and is in line to begin classes and to join Cavalier baseball team at JCCC this spring. Jake and his family are so appreciative of all the love they've received. I want everyone to know that we cannot thank Blazer Nation enough for all their thoughts, prayers, and continued support. To quote Coach Owen, the comeback is always greater than the setback. And my favorite part of the festivities, I have to confess, are junior attendance. Lily Yancey is a kindergartner at Madison Elementary, home of the Madison Bears. She is the daughter of Jordan and Emily and sister to Carter, who is a third grader at Madison. Her favorite subject in school is reading. She especially loves it when Mrs. Nelson reads to the class. Lily says in her free time she likes drawing, coloring, and building with magnetiles. When she grows up, Lily would like to be a package girl and deliver packages to all of our houses. Let's hear for Lily. And our junior attendant, Clyde Courts, is the son of Tyler and Katie Courts and brother to Bonnie. Clyde attends Madison Elementary, where he is a kindergartner in Miss Regeer's class, and his favorite subject is reading, and he loves doing rhymes in Mr. Collins' PE class. And in his free time, he likes to play Super Mario Brothers and Legos. And when he grows up, Clyde would like to be a police officer or a dollar store worker. Let's hear it for Lily and Clyde! And now the moment we have all been waiting for is upon us. Your 2022 GHS Homecoming King and Queen are Pearson Carlisle and Paige Sesser.
Welcome back to Gardner-Edgerton High School, where your score, 28-14, shows the Jaguars of Mill Valley up over the Blazers. Gardner-Edgerton. Gardner-Edgerton jumped out to an early 14-0 lead in the first quarter, but after that it's been nothing but all Jaguars all the time. 28 unanswered points in the second quarter alone for the Jaguars. Going to bring you up to speed on a few area scores. First, Blue Valley and Blue Springs. Blue Springs 21, Blue Valley 20. That is a halftime score. Blue Valley Northwest retaking the lead from Lee Summit North, 14-12. Ray-Pec 27, Blue Valley North 7. Staley and Blue Valley West going at it. The Falcons of Staley up by 2 at half, 21-19. Bishop Miege and Rockhurst. There's an interesting score here, 21-14. A lot of the prognosticators said that Bishop Miege should have their way with Rockhurst, but only up by 7 at halftime. Blue Valley Southwest 28, Spring Hill 19. Now here's one for you folks. St. James Academy 17, St. Thomas Aquinas 7. 10-point lead by the Thunder at halftime. Lawrence up over Olathe East 21-0 at half. Olathe North up big over the Raiders out of Shawnee Mission South 42-7. Olathe Northwest and Olathe West going at it. Of course, these Blazers defeated Olathe West last week. Score is 14-13 in favor of the Owls. Olathe South 38, Shawnee Mission West 0. The Lancers of Shawnee Mission East 20, Shawnee Mission North 15. Shawnee Heights 7, the T-Birds over the Bobcats of Baser Linwood 7-0. Halftime score. DeSoto 28, Leavenworth 9. That's in the third. Lansing 10. Topeka Seaman jumping now. Well, what was a real close game there in the second quarter, but Seaman has jumped out to a 21-10 lead in the third quarter. Bishop Ward 9, Turner, the Golden Bears of Turner 0. Bonner Springs and Lewisburg going at it right now. The Braves out of Bonner up by 1, 7-6 over Lewisburg. Eudora 21, Ottawa 6. Halftime score. Tonganoxie 14, Paola 7. Baldwin, the Bulldogs of Baldwin High 7, Santa Fe Trails 0. The Trojans of Topeka up over the Spartans of Emporia 7-0. The Trojans and the Spartans, how about that? Bishop Carroll and Junction City all tied up at half and all tied up at 14. Washburn Rural and Manhattan, that's a battle out there, 21-17 in favor of the Indians of Manhattan at halftime. Hutchinson, the Salthawks, up by 7 at half over the Panthers of Derby, 21-14. Hayesville Campus and Valley Center tied up at 14 at halftime. Mays 28, Salina South 7. Mays South 14, Newton 7. Andover and Salina Central all tied up at 21. Andover Central over Goddard, 15-14. That's a third quarter score. Goddard High Lions and the Bulldogs of Arc City all tied up at 8 at halftime. Wyandotte 14, Sumner 7. Wichita Northwest 31, Wichita East 7. And Schlegel and Atchison, the Phoenix of Atchison, all tied up at 0. Give you a couple other updates here and try to get you an update on the oldest rivalry west of the Mississippi, David Trimble. And can you tell me what rivalry that might be? I can tell you it's in Kansas and it's being played this evening.
I think it is going to be...
I think you're about ready to say Abilene.
Abilene
and Chapman. Abilene and Chapman. Exactly right. They're going, they're trying to extend
that. Goes back to the Wyatt Earp days.
Indeed it does, in the old 1800s. Another quick update. I can tell you Dodge City and Liberal. Dodge City's up by 6-0 at the half. And Hayes 13, Garden City 0. A couple of scores over on the Missouri side. Lee Summit West up big over Lee Summit, 35-0. Liberty North 41, Park Hill 0. Third quarter score. Liberty High 21, Park Hill South 13. It's a tight game. Didn't expect that one. Ray-Pec 27, Blue Valley North 7. Once again, Staley 21, Blue Valley West 19. Raytown over Fort Osage 22-14 at half. North KC 39, St. Joe Central 14. The Northmen of Oak Park 26. The Pirates of Platte County 12. That's a third quarter score. Grandview over Truman 35-0. Belton 38, William Christman 7. The Warriors out of Smithville 21. The Tigers of Excelsior Springs 0. That is in the third. Kearney over Winnetonka 31-8. Raytown South 20, Ruskin 7. Third quarter score. Center 42, Warrensburg 3. Oak Grove, those Panthers 21, Clinton Cardinals 0. And Harrisonville 14, Summit Christian 7. And one that just got updated, St. Pius, the 10th Warriors 20 to Chillicothe 14. Got about 3 minutes before we get things started in the third quarter of action. Gives us an opportunity to kind of review some of the stats. As we said earlier, this game started out, it was all Gardner-Edgerton. It was just 7-0 after one quarter of play with the Blazers up over the Jaguars. They came out and they scored 7 real quick points. At that point, it was 14-0, Gardner-Edgerton over Mill Valley. But since that time, it has just been all Jaguars, 28 unanswered points for Mill Valley. And that's where our score sets at halftime, 28-14. For Mill Valley, Hayden Jay getting it done again through the air, 4 of 6, 87 yards, couple of scores. He's also doing it with his legs, 11 carries, 69 yards and a score. Tate Nicola had that one beautiful reception in the south end zone for 43 yards and a score. Gardner-Edgerton, Connor Elder, 6 of 11 of 89 yards. Dawson Kindler, picking up this stat line for Dawson Kindler, David Trimble, it kind of looks like an end of the game. 16 carries, 89 yards, and 2 scores. That's a halftime stat line right there, my friend.
And he has been the workhorse. He's on 70 carries coming in for the season, so he's definitely their main back, and he's been doing good.
Responsible for all 14, or at least 12 of the 14 points for the Blazers. 16 carries, 89 yards with those 2 scores. And Colton Hawkinson, it's 1 reception for 30 yards to lead all receivers for the Blazers. Tristan Baker, 9 carries, 57 yards, 6.3 yard average. Preston Oliver had a nice reception on the far side. 1 reception for 25 yards. Hayes Miller, all he does is score touchdowns. 1 reception for 12 yards and that score. And Tristan Baker, 1 reception for 7 yards. Dylan Massey also getting in on the scoring explosion there in the second quarter with a pick 6. First interception on the season for Mr. Massey. Kenton Loffman, perfect on extra point attempts. And Hayden Jay so far in this contest punted 1 time for 35 yards. Well, Sidney Lockhart and Mikey, don't call me Mike Bergeron, each with a kick return, 13 yards between them. On the Blazer side, as we said earlier, Connor Elder, 6 of 11 for 89 yards and that 1 pick. But on the ground, it's really the Dawson Kindler show. 16 carries, 16 carries, 89 yards, nearly a 5.5 yard average with those 2 scores. Dylan Butash, 5 carries, 20 yards. Zane Mayfield has a carry, as does Kyle Oatman. Connor Elder with 4 carries. And through the air, Austin Bowie. Austin Bowie started out pretty hot. He had a couple of just beautiful catches in the first quarter. Another one to start the second. He's only got 3 so far, 29 yards, about a 10-yard average. Colton Hawkinson, as we said, 1 reception for 30 yards. Butash, 1 for 18, and Raven Powell Brown, 1 for 12. On the defensive side of things, this has been Eli Blazek's game for the Blazers. 6 tackles. Next is Dawson Williams with 3 and Andrew Camtillo with 3. Cam Porter with 2. Defensively for Mill Valley, I have no idea, but I know who does. That would be David Trimble. I think David Trimble has the stat line for the defensive starters for Mill Valley.
For Mill Valley or for Gardner-Edgerton?
For Mill Valley. I think Noah Coy has about 3 tackles. Right now we're going to watch Sidney Lockhart. He's going to step out of bounds around the 11-yard line, and the coaching staff over here not exactly pleased with that set of circumstances here. We are underway here in the third quarter. 28-14 was the score as we went into halftime, and what do you know? It's the same score coming out.
Funny how that works out.
Mill Valley deferred after winning the opening toss. So they're going to have it from their own 10-yard line. They have 90 yards to go, but they started one of their drives from the 3-yard line. Hayden J, Tristan Baker back in there. One receiver to the top, one to the bottom. Miller in motion. Hayden J's going to keep it again. He's got a little bit of room, a little bit of wiggle right there. And the defense, you know, one thing about this defense for the Blazers, they are very fundamentally sound with their tackles. And I kind of have a sense that a lot of these, at least the Jaguar offensive players, are probably going to go see their trainer, Clinton McAllister, in the morning, because they're not just good tackles, but they're sure tackles, if you know what I mean.
Caleb Green making that tackle, and he did make it look picture-perfect form on that one.
2nd and 5 from the 15. Jay takes a snap, hands it off to Baker. Baker stood up at around the 21-yard line. That was a big old stop by number 54. That's Dawson Williams. That is his 5th tackle on the evening. 3rd and 4 for the Jaguars from their own 16-yard line.
And Dawson Williams was a huge factor in last week's game. We haven't said his name a whole lot this game. So they're going to be hoping to get him getting those tackle numbers up around 10 like he was last week.
2 tight end set for Mill Valley. Baker to the left of Jay. Jay takes a snap, wants to throw. He's got a receiver over the middle, all the way out to the 28-yard line. First down. Is that big 14? Preston Oliver. When you got a 6'4" frame like that, it's pretty easy to go up and get some of those higher balls. That's what Preston Oliver did to give Mill Valley another set of downs. This one's going to start at the 28-yard line. 10:30 left to play in the third quarter.
And it's almost as good as having speed as having height. And you can absolutely do what you said and just throw it up and say, hey, go get that.
Tristan Baker brings a couple of defenders along with him. Nice stop underneath. That might have been Williams once again. Where was that? Theron Mead. We haven't heard his name as much, but Mead, one of the leading tacklers for this Blazer team. Coming up big on that one. 2nd and 9 for the 29 for Mill Valley. Waiting for the play call to come in from the sideline. Mill Valley started this drive at their own 10. Just shy of the 30. Jay wants to throw again. He's under pressure. He's got a little bit of time. He tries to scramble, gets back to the original line of scrimmage, and maybe, I don't know, lost half of a yard. Theron Mead coming up a little bit lame here on the near side. Looks like he's going to try to walk that one off. Maybe a little stinger. Flag on the play. That's going to back up Mill Valley. If you're a Mill Valley fan, they're certainly going the wrong way. And how eerily similar is the start of the second half, just like the first for Mill Valley, going the wrong direction. More yards and penalties than they had on offense to start this contest.
One step forward, two steps back.
2nd and 24 after that holding call. 9:16, 9:15 left here in the third. Hayden J, twin receivers. 2 tight end set, and they're going to say legal procedure. Another 5 yards. As I look over to the Mill Valley sideline, kind of spot Coach Joel Appleby over there. It's always a fun one to watch in cases like this. As you said earlier, David Trimble, certainly going to be a teachable moment for these Jaguars and film study, but credit to this defense of the Blazers. I just can't help but watch big number 99, Dexter Carr. And so many times this evening, he has gotten so close. And someone that got close, up close and personal to Hayes Miller. Is that Cam Porter?
That was Cameron Porter. He likes Cameron,
Porter.
not Cam.
Well, his mom told me it was Cam, but nonetheless, Cameron Porter. You talk about those sure tackles, that was for sure a tackle. That's something that Mr. Miller is going to feel for the rest of this game and into tomorrow, the whole weekend. 3 receivers to the near side. Hayden Chase steps back under pressure in the end zone, gets it away, a reception made by Hayes Miller, and he gets it all the way out to the 32-yard line. It's going to be short, about 7 yards short of a first down, but puts Mill Valley in a lot better field position with 7:53 left to play here in the third quarter.
And that's the maturity of Hayden J, being a senior here, able to stand in there, backed up into he was nearly in the end zone when he made that.
Hayden J now looking at the sideline, trying to get the call. There's 18 seconds, 17 on the play clock. They're going to go ahead and send back Mr. J. And coming in, and that's a bad snap. Jay tries to get it away. He does. Eli Blazek's back at the 40. He's going to let that one go. Takes a big Blazer bounce. Finally down at around the 47-yard line for the Blazers. And that kind of gets this crowd going again. We haven't heard a lot of them since the first quarter, but they are absolutely still here. Standing room only crowd on the near side. Been told that the unofficial count is nearly 3,500 people here at Gardner-Edgerton High School. I understand that there's at least that and maybe a couple hundred more watching on a10varsity.com. Thanks for spending some of your Friday evening with us here. And we have some more laundry. Good old laundry mat over the last, 6, 7 plays. That's going to back up the Blazers just 5 yards. 1st and 15 now from their own 43.
Now we'll see if the defense of Mill Valley can put a stop.
Elder, quick handoff to the right side. Maybe a gain of 2 or 3, but that's just so hard to stop. That double wing formation, there's so much misdirection, so many cut blocks going in there. And this is truly that 3 yards in a cloud of dust. Or a cloud of rubber, I guess it would be. 2nd and 13 from the 45. Elder under center. Little pitch out. Last time they did that resulted in a fumble. This time, might have got a half a yard, but credit Grant Rutkowski and the Jaguar front four for stopping that play before it got started.
Dylan Buttlash on that run, just not able to get around the corner on that one.
Dylan Butash, exactly 6:28, 6:27 left here in the third. 28-14, Mill Valley over the Blazers. Blazers with a big third down coming up here. Man in motion to the right side. Connor Elder has a receiver over the middle. It was that 20, that's number 23, Holden Zygmunt. Tried to do his best Dylan Massey impression and pull that one down for the Jaguars, but you know exactly who you're looking for on Gardner-Edgerton's side. That was Austin Bowie. And he almost somehow came up with that catch, almost a circus catch. I think it hit 2 defenders, and then it still had an opportunity to land in the waiting hands of the Central Missouri baseball commit, Austin Bowie, who stands back at his 30-yard line. Good snap, a little bit of a low floater, kind of a wobbler. Just going to die around the 29, 28, maybe around the 28-yard line. Almost where they started and stopped the last drive for Mill Valley, but Blazers, I think Austin Bowie's a little bit upset with himself down there. And .6:01 left to play here in the third quarter. 28-14, Mill Valley over the Blazers of Gardner-Edgerton. Hayden Jay waits for the snap, hands it off. He's going to keep it again to the right side. One man to beat, and he had a lot of pasture in front of him. Little extracurriculars right there, but I think that was number 42 in on the stop. I think, beg your pardon, I thought that was Ozzie Poge in there, but Mr. Ellis in there for the stop. Brings up 2nd and 4 from the 34. Jay hands it off to Baker. Baker doesn't get a lot there. Up to the 35-yard line. Great camera work, as always, done by Mr. Jeff Broadbent. High atop the catbird's nest up there. High atop the press box here. He's doing a great job. At A10 Varsity. Shout out to Chad back at the A10 Mothership. Making sure that everything's running smooth. 4:50, 4:49 left in the third. 3rd and 3 from the 35. Jay takes a snap. Going to keep it himself, rolls out. Trying to find somebody there over the middle, and he's got a receiver. He's got a receiver, and for the first time this evening, that's Brody Brigham who brings it in. He's just a sophomore, folks. He's got to be all of about 6'2", 6'3". Well, I'm going to say that coaches are pretty excited back here. Jay fakes out everybody. Some more of those sure tackles. 2-yard gain. Just shy of the 50-yard line for Mill Valley. You know, I always wonder when we're up here and we hear the coaches get kind of animated. Not saying which school or which team, but sometimes that happens. Certainly apologize if any profanities make their way over the air. It's usually just David Trimble dropping the profanities, but none so far this evening. Well done, young man.
Thank you very much, sir.
That was Hayes Miller streaking across. Or was that Preston? Yeah, it was Hayes Miller. Trying to mix things up. Short gain on that one. Going to bring up 3rd and about 6. Ball is now in Blazer territory. 3rd and 7 for the Jaguars. Blazers really hoping for a big 3rd down stop here. Got to squelch the momentum of Mill Valley. Empty backfield, Twins to the top. Trips to the bottom. Jay's under pressure and in and out of the hands of Tate Nicola. Nicola with the big grab in the the second quarter to bring in his only reception and a touchdown in this one. It's going to bring up 4th and 6 from the 49-yard line of Gardner-Edgerton. Mill Valley with 24-23 on the play clock. You can expect them to go for a hard count. Now they're going to go ahead and back up Hayden Jay. And Eli Blazek's back there on the 20-yard line waiting to field it. And Jay gets off a beauty. That's going to take a Mill Valley bounce and roll. That one rolled about 7 yards into the end zone. So fortuitous roll and bounce for the Blazers. They're going to have it 1st and 10 for their second drive of this third quarter. Down by 14 to the Jaguars, 28-14. 3 minutes to play in the third.
And Gardner-Edgerton was able to get more pressure on Jay during that series, making him run around out of the pocket.
1st and 10 Blazers. Elder under center. Trip receivers to the near side. Handoff in the middle. And once again, there's only one cornerback out here on the near side for Mill Valley on that one. They certainly have the speed on the receiving core. But, certainly the offensive line for Gardner-Edgerton has done a great job keeping the Jaguars at bay behind, like we talked earlier, David Trimble, some of the muscle and the meat they have up there. More on that in a second as we see Elder Counter handoff. Makes it out to the 25 and no more.
Met by a host of Jaguars. I think they're going to give him forward progress to the 26-yard line, bringing up 3rd and short.
I get a lot of enjoyment, probably too much enjoyment, watching the 355-pound Jackson Kellogg, the right guard, just mauling and having his way with pretty much anyone in front of him. How does somebody that big have feet like he does? Not the size, but just the way he can manage them. 3rd and 4 from the 26 for the Blazers. Elder runs out. He's in some trouble, but he's got a receiver just out of the outstretched hand here on the near side. That was Dylan Butash, who wanted to bring that one in because he could have made that one into a real nice gain for the Blazers.
And that definitely would have been nice yardage. He probably would have been able to pick up the first down, but instead, here we are, 4th and 4.
Holden Zigmund and Dylan Massey back for the Jaguars. Austin Bowie in to do the punting duties for the Blazers. He's standing back at his own 11-yard line. He was a little bit frustrated with himself after that last punt. See what he does here. That's a nice get-right punt. It's fielded, but there may be an issue. Yeah, that's something that that'll be another coachable, teachable moment right there. That's going to go against the Blazers.
And he just could not get the brakes put on quite enough, and he hit him right as contact. And looks like there's going to be another unsportsmanlike on him after the play. He was showing his frustration with the referees.
Yeah, we'll unpack this here in a second, but Coach Jesse Owen, I believe he just took, I think he's going to be called for the sideline violation. So we see the two student bodies hollering at each other. Something about Spirit. They're talking about the Spirit Halloween stores.
Yes.
Located in your former, let's see, what would it be? Schnucks? Remember the Schnucks grocery stores?
Schnucks, absolutely.
I think you can probably hear that. Unsportsmanlike conduct. Yeah, it's going to go. That second one is against Coach Owen. He was not happy. A little frustration now starting to mount on the near sideline here for the Blazers. Down by 14. 1:27 left in the third. That ball is going to keep walking and walking down. And Mill Valley is going to start this drive inside the 30-yard line of Gardner-Edgerton after those two. Well, one unsportsmanlike and one personal foul. We'll see if, sometimes after calls like that, one of two things can happen. Either the team will kind of settle down just a little bit and kind of rein it in, or things start to get kind of messy. Kind of like us at a buffet. A little bit messy.
Emotions are running high. Things are getting a little bit heated. Going to try and cool them down a little bit, cool everybody off.
Beautiful 65 degrees here, Gardner-Edgerton High School. And in motion, Hayden Jay's got a wide open Tristan Baker, 5-10, touchdown, Mill Valley. Tristan Baker. 29-yard strike. Hayden Jay to Tristan Baker. Puts Mill Valley up 34-14, 1:20 left in the third quarter.
And there must have been some kind of broken coverage on that, I believe, because there was not anyone within 5-10 yards of him as he was making his route down the field.
We have gone from a 14-0 lead for the Blazers in the first quarter to now a 34-14 Mill Valley Jaguar lead with 1:20 left to go in the third. Make that 35. 35-14, 1:20 left in the third. And Mill Valley picking up where they left off to end the first half, up by 21 over the home Blazers. Once again, David Trimble, as we look at kind of what happened in the first and second quarters, we talked at half, and you said, rightly, that the Blazers are going to regroup at halftime. They're going to come come out with the same intensity that they started the game with, and I think they did. But the adjustments that Mill Valley made coming out of the locker room really kind of catapulted them into the situation they were to score another touchdown here with 1:20 left in the third.
Right, because the Trailblazers, they've been getting pressure on Hayden Jay, not quite as much as they did in the first quarter, but he's been forced out of the pocket several times.
But make no mistake, when your team gives up 30 yards in penalties to allow the defending 5A state champion, three-time defending state champions, an extra 30 yards to start inside the opponent's 30, good things usually don't happen. Lohman's kick, forthcoming. It's going to be short, taken at the 6 or 7. Does a real good job of waiting for his blockers to open up. And little extracurriculars there. That might have been, was that Dylan Massey in there on the coverage?
11-yard kick return by number 10, Singleton.
Randy Singleton on the return, as he's done so many times this evening. Those 4 returns. 1st and 10 from their own 18. The Blazers desperate to get some offense going like they had in the first quarter. Austin Bowie, the big 6'5" tight end, been pretty quiet here since that first quarter. See if they try to get him involved. Not on that first one. Jaguars do a good job of plugging up the gaps.
38 Kindler, the ball carrier.
Might have given him a yard. Oh, generous spot there. Gain of about 4.
Number 8, Griffin.
Truman Griffith in there on the stop.
2nd and 6.
Less than a minute to play here in the third. 35-14 Mill Valley over Gardner-Edgerton. Connor Elder under center. Hands off. Goes back the other way. That was a good job by Kindler.
Number 18, Oatman, the ball carrier.
Well, that was, I beg your pardon, that was Kyle Oatman. They have kind of the same size. Oatman's 5'9", Kindler's 5'10".
Injury timeout.
We do have an injured Jaguar on the field. That'll give us an opportunity to bring you up to speed on a few area scores. As we mentioned earlier, a lot of cross-state line action this evening. Blue Springs 28, Blue Valley 20. That's a fourth quarter score. Blue Valley Northwest, the Huskies, going over to Lee Summit North, and right now they're up by 9, 21-12, late in the third. Raypeck 27, Blue Valley North 7, and Raypeck's a team we had an opportunity to see, what was it, about a month ago now over there, and at Raypeck against the Hawklets of Rockhurst.
Rockhurst, absolutely. They have a wonderful facility out there, wonderful program.
St. James and St. Thomas Aquinas. We told you the score at halftime. The score then was 17-7 in favor of the Thunder of St. James Academy. Well, I can tell you now, in the third quarter, St. James 17, St. Thomas Aquinas still 7. It's the same score, David Trimble. Olathe Northwest now leads Olathe West 28-21. Olathe Northwest, team that Mill Valley defeated in week 1, I believe it was. Well, I think I have to call down to the truck and get them to kind of readjust our score. I think there's a lot of excitement, a lot of rubbing and bumping, and trying to get you some. Oh, I think they heard us, David Trimble. See if they can adjust things. We'll just have to take our word for it. 35-14 is the score. 28.1 seconds left in the third quarter.
And Holden Zigman able to get up and walk off the field under his own power. Great to see that. And they do go ahead and start the clock, counting down 25-24 left to go in this quarter. Play clock at 30. They could just let this run out. switch into the field. Looks like they are not making much of an attempt to get up to the line of scrimmage. I think that might be what they're doing. They're just going to let this one run out. They did not like that third quarter. They're going to say, we're done with that. Let's go ahead and start the fourth quarter and see if we can get things turned around a little bit.
Well, we good folks down in the truck are getting some things squared away for us on your scoreboard. There we go. So you don't have to just take our word for it, but right there on the screen, as you can see, 35-14. We're moments away from starting the fourth quarter here at Gardner-Edgerton High School. Battle of Unbeatens, and you are watching it live on a10varsity.com.
And the officials getting the sideline markers on the correct side as we are flipping the ends of the field. 3rd and 3 to start.
Look at that production ability. Those guys down in the truck, we give them a little heads up, and within about 10 seconds they fix the score and the camera shot for us. How about that? Now if they could just fix the time for us, we'd be in pretty good shape. Start of the fourth quarter. Long pass out to the left side. Not sure who's grabbed that. Try to get you a number on that. Braven Powell, I believe that is his first reception. And quite frankly, if you are Gardner-Edgerton, you've got to shake things up a little bit offensively to try to get a little bit of momentum going.
They've been relying on Kindler and his legs to make plays, and they gotta go to the air a little bit now, and they're bringing 3 outright.
Interesting to see what they do here. They're going to have to a little bit of help on defense, but 3 receivers here to the far, and there's another one out to Powell. Powell's pushed out of bounds. Yeah, from up here, I always see those plays, and I'm thinking, well, is that going to be followed by a yellow flag going in the air? But none came out.
Well, that's what happens when you're blind in one eye, Sean. Your depth perception is a little bit off.
Who said that?
What?
Where are you?
And that's going to bring up a 2nd and short. That gives you more options. They might give it to Kindler to have him pick up this first down, hopefully.
And Mill Valley had other thoughts. If Kindler had a list, what would it be called?
It would be called running and getting forward progress to the 45-yard line.
Kindler's list. Come on. Come on, David Tribble. 11:05 left to play here in regulation. 35 for the defending 5A state champs, 14 for the hometown Blazers. Blazers trying to make this homecoming night one to remember, but right now they got a deficit, and that's one way to start. That was Kindler again. I believe that is his 20th carry on the evening. Just like the Energizer Bunny.
He just was churning those legs, and he was able to fight and get that first down right at midfield. 10:38, 37, 36 to go in this fourth quarter.
34. How about that? There's that bunch formation at the top of your screen. Elder, hands off. And push back Spencer Vaca. And Mark Bauer in there from his defensive back position. And that's one thing you're seeing both of these squads kind of cheat their safeties up just a little bit. I think it's pretty evident that the Blazers, they're not really trying to run to the edges. They respect the speed of Mill Valley, and when Mill Valley has the ball, they're not really going against those 350-pound linemen. But right there, and how about that? They make me eat my words. Did somebody cue them? Because that was a nice run Another one by Kindler. That was his best run that we've seen here. I believe the best run, yes it is, in the second half. A little bit of momentum building up for the Blazers. 35-14 to score, 9:32, 9:31 left in the fourth quarter.
And Holden Zigman made that tackle for Mill Valley, and he definitely saved the first down, and he might have saved a lot more than that.
3rd and 4 from the 44. And they did not like what they saw, so they're going to go ahead and pull out the charge card and charge a timeout at the 9:15 left to go in the fourth quarter mark. 35-14 is your score. Mill Valley over Gardner-Edgerton, and you are watching it live on 810varsity.com. And 4 from the 44 of Mill Valley. Little quick out to the left side, first down and a little bit more. Once again, was that Mason Shoemaker or was that Braven Powell? The 8s and the 6s look pretty similar. And that was Braven Powell, 6'2", 180 pounds. One of the fastest Blazers out here on the team. 1st and 10. Blazers now making their way down the field. 35-yard line of Mill Valley. Touchdown, an extra point here and make it a 2-score game. 8:49 left to play. Elder rolls out, throws to no one down at around the 10-yard line. One of those miscommunication there.
Because he had the protection. His line was doing a great job of holding back Mill Valley. Gave him time to roll out, and he just did not like what he saw down the field and threw that one away. Bringing up 2nd and 10. Ball is on the 35 of Mill Valley.
Bunch formation here on the near side. Elder, hands off. Forward progress maybe to the 30-yard line. Still going to bring up 3rd and manageable. But you got to think with 8:30 on the game clock that, you know, they got 2 downs to get 5 yards out of this one.
I would say that this is definitely 4-down territory. You've got to get points on the board right now.
Let's see, Austin Bowie here. Lining up wide against, I believe that's Mr. Woods out here for Mill Valley. See if they target him. You know, one thing that we haven't seen, and what we did see right there is swallowed up. Kyle Oatman just had nowhere to go. I mean, he tried to get to that edge, but just nothing doing. That's going to bring up 4th and 6 for the Blazers. Coach Owen talking it over with his senior signal caller, Connor Elder, 6'1", 165-pound Connor Elder. Randy Singleton into the game. Fullback behind Elder. Elder is trying to pass.
The ball's out.
The ball is on the turf, and that was all done by Jaden Woods, the 6'3", 220-pound sophomore, folks. That's right, he is a sophomore for this Jaguar defense. Not only did he bring down the quarterback, but he caused the fumble. It was a turnover on downs anyway, but what a great athletic play by the sophomore.
It was. Gabe James was able to fall on that for the Trailblazers, but the ball would have gone back and did go back to the Jaguars on downs. First and 10 at the 44.
7:23 left here in the fourth. Hayden Jay takes the ball, hands off. This is Sidney Lockhart. He's into the game now. I beg your pardon, that's Marion Graves getting his first carry. Marion Graves, a 5'10" senior.
24 Graves with the carry.
Oh, give Tristan Baker a break. You got a Marion Graves, you got Sydney Lockhart.
Cantil making the tackle.
And when you can pick up 8 yards on first down and give yourself second and short, keep giving those guys a break.
As we see Mill Valley doing a great job on with the ground game, and of course it starts at the line. Ty Marsh there over the ball. Jack McKinnon and Jack Melvin, Dose Jacks, and the guard position. There's Graves, but Graves is pushed back, probably lost a yard. Makes it third and about 3.
Looks like they're going to give him forward progress back to the original line of scrimmage.
Spots.
No gain on the play.
Graves behind Jay. Preston Oliver on the near side. It's Nicola on the far. 2 tight ends set. Plenty of time on the play clock. 7, 6. They get it off. Give it to Graves. Keeping the ball on the ground. Graves does a good job of hanging on to it with both hands. Now's the point where the coaching staff is saying, you gotta protect the ball. No silly turnovers, but that's exactly what Gardner-Edgerton's trying to do. You see him in there, kind of trying to do the punch out, the old Peanut Tillman punch out.
And if I were a betting man, I'd say he's going to try and get him with the hard count here and then step back and punt.
4th and 1. I don't know, though. 12 seconds on the play clock. Hayden Jay. Oh! I think they're going to say, well, was he drawn? No, they're going to call that, as they usually do against the offense. The offensive line of Mill Valley was, well, of course, again, coachable, teachable moment. And all the guys out here are trying hard, and they're having fun. And want to do good, a lot of excitement and enthusiasm down there.
And that same play where Hayden Jay tries the hard count, then looks over and then runs up real fast, tried to catch them off guard. That worked for them earlier in the game.
4th and 6. Now you'd think this is a time where you'll see Hayden Jay take about a 7-yard step back, and there he goes. Spotted at the 38. He gets it away. Nice punt. It's going to back up Blazek to his own 15. And how about that? Shoestring tackle by Dylan Massey. Is that number 7? Folks, I beg your pardon on these. That might have been Eli Porter. Blue jerseys, and I love the look of them, but quite frankly, it's a little bit difficult to see the numbers when you have dark numbers on a dark jersey.
They do have the outline in white, but from this distance, we are not right on the field.
I don't mean to interrupt you there, my friend, but Jackson Kellogg. You see him run onto the field like that, for all you youth out there, he's a big guy. No question about it. I think maybe he wasn't sure if he was going to be going in or not, but he just absolutely sprinted. He's the biggest guy on the field, but he almost ran like a gazelle out there. 1st and 10 from the 23 for the Blazers, desperate to get a little bit of something going offensively. Currently down 35-14 to Mill Valley. The time is running out. Both teams coming in at a perfect 3-0 record.
They're not going to be able to leave that way, one of these teams.
Thank you, Captain Obvious. David Trimble, ladies and gentlemen. He'll be here all week. Try the veal. 35-14 is your score. Just over 4 minutes to play here in the 4th quarter. Blazers have it 2nd and 8. I think everybody was a little bit mixed up on where that one went. But I think that might have gone to Kyle Oatman on a little delay handoff, but he did not get much.
3rd down.
A homecoming festivities here at Gardner-Edgerton this evening. Had the coronation of homecoming king and queen at halftime. That was a delight. And what do they call the Little kids, more on that in a second. 3rd and 5 from the 28. Elder under center. Fullback right behind him. Fullback's going to get the call.
And he's able to pick up the first down and 3 yards.
I think that was, did you hear that? Oh,
Hot dogs and pretzels, only $1 for the remainder of the game. I will be talking to you later, Sean.
I was just going to say, David Trimble is jumping out the window here. He's down for the dollar, I guess, what is the dollar menu down at the concession stand. Fresh set of downs for the Blazers from their own 35. And still, we've seen it on both sides of the ball. These defensive tacklers, both of these teams are extremely fundamentally sound. And as we see 2:50, 2:49 on the game clock. And looks like at this point, Mill Valley's going to punch their ticket to a 4-0 record. Blazers are going to fall to 3-1. But to start this game, and we talked about this in the pregame, David Trimble, where Coach Owen told us that, hey, if they can come out and get a couple of quick strikes, they feel real good about their chances. Nice look out there. Is that Kindler on the far side? He's got enough for a first down. Was that Oatman?
Cooper Bright on
Cooper
that one.
Bright with his first reception. The 6'2", 160-pound senior Cooper Bright. Just over 2 minutes to play. But as we look back, to start the second quarter, I believe it was Mill Valley had 10 yards of total offense. They'd run 4 offensive plays toward the latter part of the first quarter. Nice pickup there. Another.
Mayfield, the ball carrier.
It's Mayfield in. Good to see so many of these athletes get an opportunity here, especially on homecoming. Pack stands here, as we said earlier, unofficial attendance, nearly 3,500 here at Gardner-Edgerton High School, western Gardner, Kansas.
It's
How
beautiful
far?
this time of year. 65 degrees.
65 degrees. Wind is out of the south at 2 miles an hour, they tell us. Elder hands off. See who gets the carry this time.
29 Mayfield.
That's Mayfield. Zane Mayfield, 5'11", 165 pound. Also does a little defensive back action.
We have a Jaguar down right now.
For the second time this evening. But looking at some of the stats, the number of plays that Gardner-Edgerton is able to get off. If I told you that they have over 50 plays so far, would you believe me?
I would, 100%.
What about over 60?
Yes. Over 70, I don't think so.
Mill Valley, they're going to be feeling like they're Adam Binland, driving Toyotas or something awful cutesy like that. Yes, Mill Valley, they're going to be feeling like they're Adam Binland, driving Toyotas. Oh my goodness, David Trimble, we forgot about birthdays. We had some young folks come up here and ask us to give a birthday wish to a couple of fans here. First one after this play.
Looks like he's able to get
He
forward
does.
progress for the first down.
Keep this drive alive. Just over a minute to play. As we look through our notes here, it looks like I think it's Linda Roth of Western Shawnee, Kansas, is turning 53 years young tomorrow. Happy birthday to Linda Roth. And another Linda Trimble, turns 33 years young. 33, how about that? And Adam Binland, we're being told, turns 74. 74 years young. First and 10, 39 seconds left in the contest. Will that be the last play? It could be. We'll see here, but a hard-fought game for both sides. All the players on the team, there is so much solid tackling throughout this one. A lot of big plays, but really turnovers, kind of the name of the game. Mill Valley able to capitalize on 2 of them, turn those into 14 points, and got the momentum back. They're going to go ahead and move the record to 4-0. We said Gardner-Edgerton falls to 3-1. 35-14 is your final. Appreciate you joining us, watching us here on A10 Varsity. I know we've got a couple of messages from folks saying, hey, what's the score of that? That St. James and St. Thomas Aquinas score. Well, I'm going to tell you, you can find that score and all the others in the metro area by going to a10varsity.com. For all the high school, the area high school as far away as Manhattan and down to Branson, up to Des Moines. They're just all over the place. But I can tell you right now that St. James Academy leads St. Thomas Aquinas by 10 late in that contest, 24-14. Not sure too many people had that one predicted. So a couple other real quick scores. We're looking here, Olathe North over Shawnee Mission South big. Olathe West 31, Olathe Northwest 28. That game that crosses state lines. Blue Valley Northwest hanging on to a 1-point lead over Lee Summit North, 27-26. Blue Valley and Blue Springs getting the better of them right now, 35-28. Last night, the Cougars out of Shawnee Mission Northwest beat the Firebirds out of Free State in Sunflower League action, 31-28. And tonight, Shawnee Mission North and Shawnee Mission East all tied up at 28. Andy Walter out there doing great work with the Bison. Olathe South 52, Shawnee Mission West 0. Blue Valley Southwest 28, Spring Hill 19. Bishop Miege 28, Rockhurst 21. Staley 34, Blue Valley West 33. Some great action tonight all over the metro area. And this one, it really started out, you think we were going to have one for the ages here. But after about halfway through the second quarter, David Trimble, it just turned into all Jaguars all the time.
Gardner-Edgerton came out great with their defense, making Hayden Jay uncomfortable, forcing him out of the pocket. He was mishandling some of the snaps, a little bit of nerves maybe coming in, both teams 3-0. And he was able to settle down in the second quarter after going down 14-0. And he was able to settle down, get into his rhythm, get his plays going, and he was able to put up 21 unanswered, and then they kept going, and it ended up being 35 unanswered.
You know, this Gardner-Edgerton team came in with, a lot of fire and brimstone, and they were ready to play. Coach Owen definitely had them ready and fired up tonight. But you look at the roster for this team, and it's just packed with youth. Yeah, they're going to lose a couple of playmakers, to graduation this year, but the future is absolutely bright for Gardner-Edgerton. And for Mill Valley, what more can you say? They are well on their way to potentially trying for a 4th state championship in a row. Next week, Mill Valley will be at home against Olathe South, and Jordan Allen coming up on that one. And I believe the Trailblazers are going to be going on the road to Olathe North. So that'll be a tough battle for both of them. But on behalf of Adam Bidlin and Jeff Broadbent, as well as David Trimble and everybody down in the truck, and Chad at the 810 Mothership, appreciate you joining us tonight on 810 Varsity. We'll be back in action. I think they're going to send us to Olathe South next, I think we're going to Mill Valley for the Mill Valley Olathe South matchup next week. Chance Lebo will be back after a little injury night off, I'm told. Shout out Chance Lebo. Until then, thanks for joining us here on 810 Varsity, and be sure to check out all the scores and the news and so much more at 810varsity.com. And until next week, good night.